minus 50 seconds. T minus 40 seconds. T minus 30 seconds. T minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Hey, I'm Lee. I fly planes and the occasional rocket simulator. And just like you, I've been stuck here at home for a while. But lucky for you, you've just taken the first step to completing your astronaut training. The Mars Moon Astronautics Academy in Research Science is giving away 6 astronaut crew positions at their state-of-the-art Martian training facility in the middle of the Mojave Desert. It's like quarantine, but on Mars. And this isn't some kiddie camp or tourist attraction. This is real-deal astronaut training. You'll even get a certificate at the end. We're talking EVA missions, space food, astronautics research, and maybe even a little bit of this. And here's the best part. You don't need a PhD in astrophysics to qualify. All you gotta do is donate $25 to Passage, a nonprofit project working to bring science education resources to Latin America's most underprivileged communities. You can enter as many times as you'd like to increase your chances of winning. Be sure to visit our webpage to view the official contest rules and share this video with an aspiring astronaut. Consider this one small step for you here on Earth, toward one giant leap to Mars.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. It's a nice video, Lee. Lee just threw that together. So let's just talk about Lee's talent level there. It's like, I made this like 15 minutes ago. So we're good to go. So awesome stuff as always. And so how's it going, everybody? My name is Ron Sparkman, and I am thrilled. It is a pleasure. I'm supposed to rap over that? Okay, fair enough. So there's a private chat that we have before I get to introducing myself. And the private chat is always enjoyable. You never know what's going on. So if you see us randomly laugh at any given time, that's totally what it is. So I want to welcome everybody out to our 4th official Passage live stream for the fundraising side of this thing, which has been really exciting. We're well over $15,000, and tonight the goal is to get to $17,000. We got some top science communicators in the world that will be on as we do this awesome, wonderful show tonight, if I could speak. But first up, we're going to go to the man, the myth, the legend, Lee Guyot, who was the mastermind behind this whole thing, got us all together. So you heard a little bit about it in the preview. And one of the things, if we hit 17,000 tonight, we will announce one of the winners that will go to do that astronaut training. So go check out the website. I'll have it scrolling across the bottom of the screen while Lee is talking. But Lee, tell everybody a little bit about this, the benefits, the cool stuff that they can be involved in by donating.
Yeah, thank you, Ron, for hosting us once again with Stardom and this live stream platform that you have, which is amazing. And to everyone watching, please comment. We're watching the comment section on the Passage Facebook page, so we'd love to hear from you and have your comment displayed here on the screen. And of course, thank you, Digger. Thank you to our amazing team of science communicators that are joining us on the stream. We're going to have an awesome night. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really excited. So Passage, for anyone that doesn't know, it stands for Providing Aid in Science for South America's General Education. And what it is a 30-day flight across the Caribbean and South America to Latin America's most underprivileged schools. And we are actually increasing our impact to over 10,000 kids right now, and hopefully many, many more. We have a goal of $50,000. This flight is going to bring science education resources, things like telescopes, books, lab equipment, software, things like learning, getting kids to learn how to code. And of course, educational material from our science communicators, most of which is in native languages like Spanish, Brazilian Portuguese, Creole, French, languages spoken throughout various different regions in the Caribbean, a little bit of Central America and South America. And so this is going to be a really exciting time. We're making a documentary about the entire project as well. So by donating $25, you already know, like you saw in that video, if you guys were here a few minutes ago, that you will be able to enter to win a trip to the Mojave Desert to train like a Martian astronaut with MMARS, which stands for the Mars Moon Academy for research, Mars Moon Academy, Astronautics Academy and Research Science. I knew there was another A there. And so it's a cool little habitat. You get to explore the region and see what it's like to live in astronaut quarantine. But there's also a lot of other rewards. Check out the comments below. The link is there to go check it out. And also GoFundMe.com/PassageScience. It's scrolling down there. So yeah, send us your questions, donate. We're hoping to hit 17,000 tonight. And if we do, we will announce the first crew member on this mission in the Mojave Desert. So it's selected randomly. Donate as much as you can. Every $25 donation counts as an entry. So yeah, really exciting.
Do they have to do multiple $25 donations, or if somebody gives $100, that's just immediately 5 entries? Because I honestly didn't know that. So I probably should ask that earlier.
Yeah. So how it works is we have a list of like all the donors and then just the amount. But the thing is, it only counts if you keep donating 25, 25, 25, 25, because it doesn't register it as multiple donations. Let's say if you donate $100 or $1,000. So if you really want a good chance, keep donating $25, and not a lot of people have entered yet. So you have a really good chance at winning this spot tonight. And after tonight, there's still 5 more shots. So definitely do the best that you can. And still, if let's say you donate a bunch of times, you can't win twice. So that's going to go. So even if you donate one time, you still have a really good chance at winning. So it's very fair. It's very open. You know, there's no gimmick. It's just astronaut training. The only catch is you have to be 18 and older. That's about it.
Super, super awesome. Well, Lee, thank you for giving us all the details. Okay, my button's stuck apparently. Thank you for giving us all the details on what we're doing here tonight. And we actually have a very special guest, one of my good friends that I get to work with at the Space Foundation all the time, Duane Digger Carey. How are you doing tonight, sir? We're so glad you could join us. And of course, we got to talk about all the awesome things you do. So you want to give everybody a quick breakdown about who you are, aka the astronaut biker, and all the awesome stuff you do.
Yeah, Ron, thanks. My name is Duane Carey, and I flew in space in 2002 on STS-109 to the Hubble Space Telescope. And I left NASA a few years after that. And since then, my wife and I have been basically just, traveling all around the world and talking to kids and talking to adult audiences about the importance of math and science when you're preparing yourself for a career, and letting people know the types of opportunities that can accrue from that type of preparation. So we're just having a lot of fun with it. And you guys probably know that Ron does a lot of work with the Space Foundation here in Colorado Springs. And that's how we met. Cheryl and I also work with Space Foundation quite a bit. Basically anything we can do to get the word out about the importance of grounding yourself in a good technical education, getting prepared for an interesting life, and one that's full of adventures like I've had.
And definitely want to talk about that a little bit. I do know that you have so my cohort, my partner in crime, Slade Bradbury, has an interview with you coming up on Audience with an Astronaut. I know that this year we changed up the format of that a little bit, and I think you guys actually have different themes on each one. And what's the next one we got coming up in January, like 16th, I think?
Yeah. Ron, Slade and I have done 2 of those so far, and we got one coming up in January. And truth be told, to me, if it's in January, it may as well be 5 years from now. So I have no idea what Slade's going to want to talk about, but he's been doing a real good job preparing some interesting itineraries for these 1-hour sessions, and it's been a lot of fun.
He's so driven, man. He's just one of the best people, and it's fun to get to work with him. We've learned a lot together over the last month, and somehow have managed not to burn the building down. So we're happy about that. But we're always glad to have you do all the awesome stuff that you do with us, and I know you're a fan favorite. In fact, I don't know, have you heard the story of from Liz yet? Liz Henderson, that's our new volunteer that's been with us for a while, that she came and saw one of your talks, and you were talking with her a little bit after and told her what she could do. She quit her job, moved back to Colorado Springs, and she volunteers with us now, and she does like all kinds of stuff for us. She's like one of the best gifts we've ever had in a volunteer, and we have amazing volunteers at saying something. But she's there, she's editing podcasts, she's writing for the Space Report, she's just doing all kinds of stuff. So, and that inspiration came from just talking to Digger for just a few minutes. He has a tendency to do that.
Yeah, glad to hear it. That's happened in our various trips over the last few years. That's happened quite a bit, actually, where people come up after a presentation, or we get an email and they say that they're gonna, take a major shift in life. It kind of scares me sometimes, because sometimes you don't want to be responsible if these things don't work out. But people hear my story, and it drives home. It reminds them how important it is to follow your passion, and you only get a chance here on Earth one round, and you may as well make it count. And that's what I think Liz is headed toward. Her and I correspond every now and again, and I'm really proud to see that she's doing well, and I'm glad to hear from you that she's really making some great contributions to your outfit down there.
Yeah, she's absolutely wonderful, man. Very driven, like many of the folks that we have on the live stream tonight. I know everybody else is going to have questions for you, so we just got to do one thing. You have an incredible story of how you became an astronaut, and I always love to see the kids' faces light up, because everybody assumes like, oh, they're all straight A students, they live these perfect lifestyles, and that is absolutely not the truth from any astronaut that I've ever met. It's the ability to overcome challenges is what makes an astronaut, not that, wildly genius. I mean, there are the geniuses. Johnny Kim, oh my God. Oh, I was a Navy SEAL, and then I became a doctor, and now I'm an astronaut. Okay, that guy maybe, but most of them have really great stories, but yours in particular is a fascinating one. And I've heard it probably a half dozen times now, and it always is just fantastic to hear just kind of what you've overcome to get where you are. So we definitely got to hear a little bit about that path. And I know Cheryl, your amazing wife and business partner, was a big piece of that too.
Yeah. For me, I had basically no idea that I'd ever end up going to college or anything like that, living in kind of a blue collar household. And so I didn't take school real serious. As a matter of fact, when I was in high school, to me it was more important to get a job and make some money so I could buy a motorcycle. So in high school, I was working 40 hours a week, and as you might imagine, I had to get a lot of my sleep while I was in school. And since I tried to be logical about the whole thing, I quite naturally got most of my sleep in those science and math classes, because I knew I was never going to use that stuff. I might use some of the vocational training that I was getting, metal shop, wood shop, those kinds of things. And indeed, I have used that stuff a lot over the years, but got out of high school. Basically, the only plan I had was load a bunch of camping gear on my motorcycle and take off. And the plan didn't work too well. I ran out of money about probably a couple months into that trip, but I still wanted to travel. So I started hitchhiking, but long hair and pimples doesn't get you a lot of rides, and started hopping trains, a skill I had picked up when I lived in the projects as a kid. That's how we used to get around town, was jump freight trains and stuff like that. It's kind of dangerous. If you know what you're doing, you can mitigate the threat a little bit. So I kind of bumped around the United States for a couple of years, and I was tending bar, and ran into a guy who had been a fighter pilot in the Vietnam War. And things started to click. I'm a motorcycle guy, and I tried a little bit of racing and stuff like that. I like to go fast. I was getting a little bit older and a little bit more mature, thinking about perhaps, raising a family someday and all that. And by that time, I'd met Cheryl, and I came home from work that night, and I said, Cheryl, I got a great idea. Wouldn't it be fun if like I was a fighter pilot and be in like the Air Force or the Navy or something like that, and we could live at different places all around the world, and and I get to fly jets, and it'd be a lot like riding motorcycles. And Cheryl says, well, wait a minute. I heard that you have to go to college to be a fighter pilot. And then it seemed like the dream was, impossible at that point, because I was very poorly prepared for a college challenge. But, a lot of hard work. I didn't have fun in college like most people do. I had to work about 3 times as hard as anybody else, as you might imagine. But the important thing is I got that degree. And like I like to tell kids, that are in school, whether it be a high school diploma, whether it be a certificate of completion at a tech school, learning some valuable skills, plumbing, electrician, those types of things, or whether it be a college degree, that piece of paper, what it really represents is opportunity, and it opens up some doors for you. And basically, the stories I share with young people and adults the world over is that I didn't do these things because somebody told me, and I didn't learn these lessons by reading them in a book or something like that. I lived it, and I know what it means to be behind the 8 ball. I know what it means to pull yourself up by your own bootstraps and run real hard and try to catch up to all the other people that were staying awake in high school and stuff like that. And but the bottom line is develop a passion for what you want to go after, and then don't let anything get in your way. And there will be things in your way, but you just keep looking for a way around it, over or through them, any challenges you come up against. And, like Liz, like your friend Liz and I have talked about, the only young person whose future I can really predict is the one that quits, because I know that they're not going to get what they want. But if you keep trying and you never give up, a little bit of luck, next thing you know, you might get a chance to fulfill your dream. And it's just been wonderful wonderful for Cheryl and I, and we're just happy to be living in a country where people can have these kinds of opportunities. And speaking of that, this Passage project, Outreach to South America, Cheryl and I feel real strongly about kids all around the world having the opportunity to get a technical education, because if mankind is going to go to Mars and onward to the moons around Jupiter and Saturn and then beyond the solar system, we're not going to get there by doing the same thing over and over again. We need new ideas, and the way you develop new ideas is to expose yourself and actually compose your teams of people who have vastly different backgrounds. And the synthesis of these different backgrounds and different cultures and different experiences come together in unforetold ways to actually eventually give us ways to solve problems that no single person could have ever thought of. And that's why it's important to, especially in the future, to involve kids that grew up in Africa, South America, some of the poorer parts of Asia, and places where perhaps there might not be a great deal of opportunity. It benefits all of us that these kids get the tools that they need so that they can contribute and come up with these great ideas that are out there. It's just a matter of giving these kids a path forward to the point where they can contribute, because the potential out there is enormous, and it benefits all of us as human beings on this earth to get everybody into the game.
Beautifully said, as always, and I'm sure multiple people on the panel tonight probably want to ask a question here. So what I'll do is this. Is there anybody in particular that wants to go first? Raise your hand. I can't believe Cyan's hand is not already up. You're always the first one whenever I say that. So I'll go Cyan and then Angelica. But Cyan, first tell everybody a little bit about who you are, to give like a 30-second intro, and then throw your question at Digger, and we'll let him bring it up. And of course, people that are watching all around the world right now, thank you so much for joining us tonight for this Passage fundraiser. Please check out the website that we have scrolling below. Donate. We're trying to hit $17,000, and we are going to announce one of the people that will be training for life on Mars if we hit that $17,000 tonight. And that's something Cyan has done before, and so has Micaiah. So that'll be fun to talk about a little bit later. So, Dr. Proctor, hit us.
Hi, I'm Cyan Proctor. I'm a geoscience professor at South Mountain Community College in Phoenix, Arizona. And so I just finished, I'm in my 22nd year as a geoscience professor. So I teach geology and sustainability and those kinds of classes. And Ron, am I supposed to just answer my question, or am I ask my question now?
Go for it. I mean, you can if you want to do it. If you want to say anything particular, like a thought that came to mind from Digger's insights there, whatever you want, go for it.
Well, I want to know, looking back at the amazing career that you've had, do you have a favorite moment or memory that you can share with us?
Well, as you might imagine, my career has spanned so many different types of jobs and experiences. But I can talk about space, my trip to space, and perhaps one of the biggest moments that I'll never forget was, when you're in a crewed spaceship, especially one that's as task intensive as the space shuttle was. During ascent, the flight crew is extremely busy, and it involves monitoring instruments and a lot of heads down work. You're not really looking out the windows too much. You want to do your job as perfect as you can. You're dealing with primal forces. Not too many feet below you, there's cryogenic hydrogen combining with cryogenic oxygen, and if that doesn't happen just right, it makes a big boom. And there's a lot of stuff that could go wrong. So you're real busy during that 8.5 minutes to low Earth orbit. However, about 6 minutes in, my commander, who had been in space twice, and this was his third trip, knowing that I was a rookie, said, Digger, just take 5 seconds and just take a look out the window before you get back to your tasks. And I looked out the window, and by that time we were high enough to see pretty decent curvature, and it was daylight out on that side of the Earth, and it was absolutely gorgeous. And that's when you realize the big disappointment that we all have when we're trying to imagine what the Earth looks like from outer space, and all we've got is videos and pictures and things like that. Because when you can see it in all 3 dimensions, it's probably 10, 20 times more beautiful than the most beautiful 2-dimensional picture you've ever seen. And it was just incredible. And as busy as I was, and as devoted as I was to my task at that time, my eyes started to tear up a little bit. And then I got back down and I went back to work. And I took a moment a few days after, float over to my commander and shake his hand and say, thank you so much for taking the time to break me out of my trance there and get me to look outside, because I'll never forget what that looked like. But before we go on to the next question, ma'am, you mentioned that you're a community college instructor and you've been doing that for 22 years. My hat's off to you. And one thing I've noticed over the last 15 years of going to schools and different organizations all over the world is that it seems like high school is a different experience than it was when I went through. If I would have really paid attention, I probably could have gotten, to a pretty decent level in high school. But there's a lot of kids, and to the adults in the audience here tonight, I think we've all noticed that as time has gone by, it seems like kids are maturing a little bit slower nowadays than they used to. And what that's done is now you have a kid that graduates from 12th grade, and she's not taking things quite as seriously as perhaps a young lady would have 30 to 40 years ago, back when I was in high school. And this is what makes community college so important, because as these kids mature a little bit slower, perhaps they're 18, 19, 20 years old before the light bulb comes on. And thank goodness we have a wonderful system of community colleges in the United States where these kids now, armed with a new sense of maturity and mission, go back and learn the stuff they probably should have learned in high school. But we are a nation of second chances, and we are a nation of redemption. And that's what our community colleges do for us. And I actually like to advocate to any audiences where it's appropriate, the idea that right now in the United States, we're pretty comfortable with K through 12 education being funded publicly. And I believe we need to tack a couple of years onto that and push for a K through 14, because kids have changed, society has changed. One might argue that there's actually more to learn, and that I believe to be true also. So instead of trying to pack it all into 12 years, we might be better off packing it into 14 years. And our community colleges, I believe, are poised and ready to answer that challenge. And they provide a wonderful service to the United States. Thanks. Thank you, ma'am, for teaching at a community college for so long, for such a great portion of your career.
Oh, we get that picture. Timing on the picture.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Because I knew that I wanted to be a community college professor pretty on when I went to graduate school, and I love it. I love my students. The average age, I teach at a Hispanic Serving, Minority Serving Institute in South Phoenix, and the average age of the students is a 26-year-old female. But I can have anything from the 16-year-old all the way up to the 70-year-old. And some of my favorite students are my African-American females who are 50, 60, and they just, they raised their kids, they're raising their grandkids, and they decided to go back to school. I mean, go to school for the first time. So they have literally not been in a classroom in 40 plus years, and they're coming to the community college, and I have them right next to the 18-year-old, and they haven't had a science class or a math class in a long time. And they're my favorite students because they're so excited to be there. They're so excited to learn, and they put everything into this opportunity. And there's something magical about that. So I thank you for your kind words about the community college and the things that we do, because we really do provide a service that often gets overlooked because of there's the K-12 kind of emphasis, and then there's the university or Research One emphasis, and the community college kind of falls through the cracks, but hopefully not moving forward. So thank you. Ron, can I have one more question though? Can I throw one more out there?
No, don't be greedy. Like, we got 10 other people. We got 13 comments. We don't have them for very long. Oh, okay, sorry.
Okay,
sure, go ahead.
I'm a big military aviation fan, and I just got to ask, A-10 or F-16? A-10, because I know you flew both of them. Do you have a preference to one or the other, or is there another one that you flew that is different?
Well, you live in Phoenix, so of course you're not
Luke.
From Luke Air Force. A lot of F-16s and F-15s fly out of there, and different aircraft.
Yes.
This is the world famous A-10, the first fighter that I flew in the Air Force. And ma'am, people ask me that question all the time, and I always cop out, but it's an honest answer. It's an absolute tie. The A-10 had the coolest mission, close air support, which is basically supporting troops on the ground that are not having a very good day. Everybody dreams of being Superman or Superwoman, flying into a situation and saving a bunch of lives, and that's what the A-10 does. The F-16, on the other hand, was and still remains a fabulous hot rod, high performance jet that's fairly difficult to fly and very rewarding of good piloting skills. So the airplane to airplane, the F-16 is a cooler jet. But when you look at the whole experience of flying F-16s versus flying A-10s, it comes into a tie because mission that the A-10 does is absolutely captivating and incredibly demanding and rewarding.
Love, love, love it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We have Davis Montham down in Tucson, so
Yep,
home of the
that's where I learned how to fly A-10s.
So I love this one from Walter. But Walter, I'm going to tell you, this amazing group you put together tonight, Ron. This wasn't me. This was all Lee. As always, congratulations to everyone, and a big hello to my fellow analog astronauts, Cy Proctor and Micaiah. And we're definitely going to talk a little bit about their amazing experience at High Seas with Sensoria a little bit later. So Angelica, we're going to go to you next for your question, and we're going to get the first one from the studio audience, and then we'll go to Julie.
Awesome.
Video, I guess it's live audience, like the millions watching at home.
So an introduction to myself. I'm originally from Venezuela. My name is obviously Angelica. I'm currently a student at Embry-Riddle, so Riddle representing. I study aerospace engineering and astronautics and a minor in space studies. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. I'm a professional nerd. So my question is, which actually is one of my followers asked this question the other day, and I thought it was very interesting. What did you think when you were applying to become an astronaut? What did you think that made you stand out among the other candidates?
That was and is a mystery to me. I think, my grades in school compared to other people that are applying, just about all of them have been stellar students and those kinds of things. I really don't know why they chose me. Maybe it's because NASA is pretty good at putting together teams, and they know that if all you have on a team is white guys with blue eyes, you're probably not going to get much done in your teams. Not only obvious diversity in terms of skin color and stuff like that, which I think is a rather poor way to define diversity, but a diversity of backgrounds, a diversity of attitudes. And that's when you really come together and in innovative ways solve the hard problems that have never been solved. And I like to think that NASA saw something in me that was a little bit non-standard, not your typical fighter pilot applicant. I had a good record. After I got out of college and got going in my Air Force career, I always took it real serious, and I had a good record in the military. I had good performance in combat, those types of things. But I think probably what may have attracted them was having some people in the astronaut office maybe that grew up under less than stellar circumstances, maybe some poverty in the background and stuff like that. They felt like it might add some diversity. I've never had that question before, and I'm sorry, I really don't have that good of an answer. But
no, I love it. It's a unique question, so it's awesome. Thank you.
No, I have to say that once I got into the astronaut corps, I'm not ashamed to say that I found myself to be a very middle of the road average astronaut in terms of abilities. But then, when you're one of only less than 600 people that ever flew in space, you have to understand you're surrounded by incredibly awesome people, and to even run with that crowd is a great honor. So even though I was quote unquote just an average astronaut, I felt real proud to be there, and I felt like I contributed, and it was a wonderful experience.
We're all laughing here in the chat because you say average astronaut, like it's such a common thing. Just an average.
My friends are better than me.
Nothing to see.
So we have one of our first questions here, and it was awesome too because the amazing John Reed has given some of his awesome book. I was going to say blah 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 right here, and Lee's versions over there have been translated. Lee, you want to tell a little bit about that before we get to John's question, because he did a really awesome thing, and he does awesome things all the time, and he is just such a giving person. Loves to communicate science and teach people about everything that has to do with astronomy, and his books are fantastic. So, Lee, you want to tell a little bit about that story before we get to his question? You're muted, buddy.
Correct.
Booyah.
Yeah. So John, I believe, has the best-selling Amazon astronomy book out there. There's just no category that says that. But he has many amazing books. They're all on my bookshelf up there somewhere. And he is starting to translate some of his books here into Spanish. And these are very, I guess, straightforward, very easy to digest books for anyone getting into astronomy. And you see these are the special passage edition, which is, it blows my mind that our logo is even on a book on Amazon, which is really cool. But as for anyone that knows a little bit about astronomy, you know that the southern hemisphere is different than the northern hemisphere. So he's actually taking time out of his day to completely flip everything in these books. So stuff in the nighttime sky here is completely different than, you know, what you would see in South America, for instance. You know, here we see the band of the Milky Way, but down there you'll see the two Magellanic Clouds, which are, I guess, clusters of mini galaxies in a way. Kind of, it's a part of the Milky Way that's just, you know, two little dots of the Milky Way that you don't really see here, which is really cool. And I hope that these kids will be able to see it with the telescopes that we give them, and of course with these books. So I think it was Mac, Ron, who said, you know, like, imagine if everything you learned had, you know, to be
subtitles.
Yeah, subtitle. Yep. And this gives them the first easy access. You know, they don't have to worry about translating anything from English or whatever. You know, this is, you know, here you go. Here's everything that you need to, here's the opportunity for you to get into astronomy. So this is just one of many amazing things to come. And thank you, John, if you're watching. This is absolutely incredible. I just got this in the mail like an hour ago. So very cool.
Super awesome stuff. And thank you, John, for giving. He's donated on more than one occasion. Now he's donating these books. So let's go to the question. And I think you might have answered this a little bit with the question from Dr. Proctor. It says, Digger's bio says he's flown 35 different types of aircraft. I'd like to know what were some of the most interesting aircraft he's flown and any interesting flying stories he'd like to tell. I will tell you personally, my favorite flying story of Digger's is when he flew the space shuttle for one of the missions to fix the Hubble, and we still get Hubble images because he flew that. So that's my favorite one. I just want to drop that in there real quick. Thank you, Digger and team.
Yeah, when I went through pilot training back in the early '80s, Air Force pilot training, it was heavily geared toward giving everybody the training they would need to be a fighter pilot. I had my primary training in T-37, which was a twin-engine subsonic side-by-side seating trainer, primarily designed to teach you basic flying skills, including spin recoveries and aerobatics and stuff like that. And then the secondary trainer at that time, and I believe still is secondary trainer after all those years, is the T-38, which is a supersonic aircraft. Fairly demanding to fly, not real forgiving of mistakes, but basically teaching you the types of skills that you need to fly in a fast mover and to fly a fighter. So all my experience was flying fighter jets. And when I went to test pilot school in 1992, that's where, you know, my bio says I've flown over 35 different kinds. I've always been too lazy to count, but it's probably 40 or 45 or something like that. But what was interesting to me as a fighter pilot going into test pilot school, where you fly all different types of aircraft, was how cool gliders are. And, you know, as a motorcycle guy, I've ridden a lot of different kinds of motorcycles. And I learned several years into my motorcycling career that the most important skills any motorcycle rider can have is basically dirt bike skills, riding in the dirt, where it's slippery and there's a lot of obstacles, and you got to learn how to use your brakes and suspension, stuff like that, without crashing. And it helps you turn into a better street rider. And actually, all your, you know, those of you that follow motorsports at all, your road racing motorcycles, a lot of those, if not all of those riders, those racers, do a lot of work on dirt bikes during the week because it turns them into better street bike riders. And I discovered when I was at test pilot school and flying gliders are like the dirt bikes for airplanes. And basically, when you're flying a glider, there's no way you can use thrust to get yourself out of trouble, and there's no way you can cheat the energy package that you've got. The only energy you have in a glider is basically how fast you're going and how high you are. There's no fuel you can convert to energy, and it's all on you to manage that energy so you can always make the runway. And gliders are just incredibly demanding and rewarding. And I learned that all those years when I was flying fighter jets, I probably should have spent some money and gone out and gotten some glider time, because it would have made me a better pilot. But the cool thing about gliders is it's within the realm of everybody in this audience here tonight to go out and buy yourself a glider ride or two and give you an idea what fundamental flying is all about.
Awesome. All right, and we will go to Julie next, I believe, on the list. And then, so we got Julie, and then we've got another audience question, and then Micaiah, which I think might wrap up our time with Digger tonight. So we might be able to get like some rapid fire questions in if there's anybody else that wants to throw ones in there. They're like easy answers. But Julie, we'll go to you next.
All right,
Ron, real quick. You know what we could do is just a quick lightning round, and I'll give 30-second answers.
Okay, that sounds good to me. I'm down. Julie, you want to go ahead?
Yeah. All right. So my questions are super quick. One, do you think is the most important experiment that you've conducted, except the Hubble? Because I know Hubble is very important. And then two, what is the weirdest thing that has happened to you in space, and how did you deal with it?
Actually, ma'am, on a Hubble mission, that's basically all you're doing. So that the answer to that first question is we didn't really have any other tasks besides just the Hubble stuff. The weirdest thing that ever happened to me in space, I would say, was I think it was the second day I looked out the window. Maybe it was the first day, I can't remember anymore. And it appeared as if there was a large metal-looking artifact that was flying formation with us in space. We're supposed to be up there all alone, and I didn't know what that thing was, so I took some videos and pictures of it and sent it back to the ground. And to this day, nobody's ever been able to figure out what it was.
Wait, say what? You saw a UFO.
I'm just telling you. Yeah, actually, technically, it was a UFO because it was unidentified. Unidentifiable.
It's not the first time I've heard it from an astronaut that they saw it. No, they're not saying it's aliens, but there is certainly, plenty of folks that I've heard that have said, like, I didn't know what that was. I had no clue. Nobody else can figure it out either. It's just the way it is. That's real. Angelica's like, aliens, that's proof. No.
My God, confirmed. We just confirmed it here in Passage.
Well, here's the funny thing is that we live in this has been such a year that everybody kind of forgot that happened this summer, where like it was the Pentagon was like, we're gonna start looking into these. I forgot what they called it. There's a different name that they have for UFOs to kind of get away from people saying, oh, it's aliens. We don't know what it is, but we should research this more. And that just kind of came and went. That was just a thing, like murder hornets. We don't even talk about that anymore because 2020. So yeah,
there's a whole heck of a lot more we don't know than we do know, and those of you that have ever read the book called Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance, it's not it's not a motorcycle book. It's a book about philosophy and a book about science. It's called Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance by Robert Pirsig. I've read it in every decade of my life since I was a teenager. It always means something different. But essentially, one of the central paradoxes that it's addressed by that book is that, in its paradox of science, the more adept we get with our sensors, our telescopes, our microscopes, our cyclotrons, the bigger view we get of the universe and how it really works, the more we understand how little we know, so that you could go back to the days of the Greek philosophers, Aristotle, Socrates, all those guys. They probably figured they knew maybe 25% of everything there was to be known. And now, 2,000 years, 2,500 years after that, with all the knowledge we've gained, we now realize that we know just maybe a few percent of everything there is to know, because the more we learn about what we don't know. And the Hubble Space Telescope is a wonderful example of that. We're actually more behind than we were when it launched.
Beautifully said. And we have one from the audience here. Let me find it again real quick from Jupiter. Question from your origin story. What was your first win that made you confident that you were doing the right thing in making such a drastic career switch?
In terms of going from the Air Force to NASA, or from going from a slacker to college?
I'm willing to go with probably the slacker to college, and well, college was trying to get you into flying, right? So if you wanted to be a pilot, so I'm guessing that, like, okay, I'm going to stop hopping trains, go to college, and do that. So I'm guessing. Hopefully, I'm right, Jupiter.
Yeah, it was probably my sophomore year in engineering school when I had a chance to take a deep breath and look back and say, wow, I haven't failed any classes yet. There could be a chance. It was just a lot of really hard work. The community college professor may be interested in this little vignette. I got clobbered my first semester, my first quarter in calculus. I was sorely unprepared for that. And what I did was, we had 3 weeks off in the winter break. And what I did was, I went back to my old high school with my tail between my legs and checked out all those math books from the classes that I'd slept through. And in 3 weeks, I took myself from geometry, basically like advanced algebra, all the way up through pre-calc. And I was working, 30 hours a week as a bartender at that time. And but it was the dream of being a fighter pilot was something that I wasn't going to let go. And if it meant that I didn't get any sleep for 3 weeks, well, then that was a small sacrifice to make the dream come true. And lo and behold, my grades at least went kind of like from D's to about B's after that. All that hard work, but that's the kind of intensity I had to keep through, basically all the way up through graduate school, because I was so far behind.
And Micaiah, fellow Air Forcer, I don't even know what that term would be, but you go ahead.
Yeah, howdy, sir. So yeah, my name is Micaiah Eustace. I wanted to ask you more about your, because looking at just your Air Force career, a lot of people would think that you had like all the right moves, all the right path, and especially as someone, I'm a new lieutenant, engineer, thinking about going to TPS in the future as a flight test engineer and everything. Trying to navigate this new path, and I want to know if you had any of those breakthroughs or these like really big lesson moments while you're in your career that you would want to tell a new LT.
As a lieutenant, first of all, thanks for your service. Primarily, I like to thank service people for signing up. Anything you do after you sign that dotted line is your duty, but it was your choice to sign up. And basically, as 30 years from now, ma'am, you're gonna look back and you're gonna say, I gave the Air Force the best years of my life. And we all thank you for that, for making that decision. I always adopted the standard thing you hear all the time as a lieutenant. The most important job is the job you're doing today. And I like to think that actually I can truthfully say professionally, I've never, when I was in the military, when I was with NASA, and when I do work with Ron and those guys down at the Space Foundation and all over the world, when I'm doing those kinds of things, I never phone it in. There's preparation, there's figuring out what can go right and what can go wrong, being prepared for all different types of eventualities. The most important job is the job you're doing today. If you want to get into flight test engineering, probably the main impediment would be passing the physical and making, hopefully you've got the eyesight and physically you can pass the lab work and the types of physical tests you have to get through to be there. But if you're passionate about flying, try to get some time down at the Aero Club if they're still doing that in the Air Force, some cockpit time, and learn what the aviation mindset is all about. But remember, it's your day job that's the most important, and you have to be the finest engineer, the hardest working, the one that works the extra hours and is never satisfied until the job is done right. Because the kind of things you're involved in are the kind of things that if they're done wrong, it's going to kill people. So take all that serious, maintain a good attitude, learn to get along with people. A lot of the sandbox skills that you learned about when you were younger, all those kind of things are important. But the main thing that gets you through the hard times is a passion and a desire and a stubbornness that you'll never give up.
Love it. And we got two quick questions, one from Esther and one from Aaron. And then, Digger, I want to give you the chance to do a little bit of a plug on 180 Out before we let you go tonight. So, Esther, we'll go with you first. And what's your question?
Sure. Hi. So I'm Esther Tino, and I'm a NASA Solar System ambassador. I do a lot of outreach with kids, specifically Girl Scouts of America is my target audience. And my question that I had for you was, what do you expect to see changing the most in spaceflight in the coming years?
In spaceflight.
What do I expect to see changing in spaceflight in the next 10 years? Let's see, if it's 2020, we're talking 2030, we're going to most likely be back on the moon by then. And hopefully, I think with the new administration, I think things are going to slow down a little bit. That's just my uneducated guess. But I think by 2030, I think we're going to be on the moon, and we're going to be hopefully have people living there, maybe the same type of time durations that we have people living on the ISS at this point. It's going to be important to those people to have skills that colonists need. And the types of people that are going to be chosen for these moon missions are going to be people that are more than one-trick ponies. In other words, they have skills that expand beyond piloting skills, engineering skills, research skills. In other words, in a situation like that, you're looking for people that are good cooks. You're looking for people that know how to fix that know how to work on hydraulics, electronics, those types of things that are going to break down. The moon is just that much farther away than is the ISS in terms of time. John Young used to say, John Young was the last active astronaut who had walked on the moon while I was serving in the astronaut corps. And old John was a smart guy. He's not with us anymore. And he was always wanted us to follow the safest path that we could if we were going after challenges, because, as an old moonwalker, he was very, very familiar with things that could go wrong. And he used to say that the moon's not that far away, but you're still 3 days away from a warm bed and a plate of beans if things go wrong. So you got to have survival skills, and you got to have real life skills. For those of you that see experiences like these in your future, don't be afraid to build your next computer. Don't be afraid to buy a small motorcycle and learn how to work on it. Don't be afraid to take the challenge of working on your car more and just getting in a familiarity with working with your hands, know which end of a screwdriver is the business end, those types of things. Soldering skills are important. I've always wanted to learn how to weld. I was going to do that with my GI Bill, but I didn't because we got busy with other things. But
how to use a razor?
Yeah.
To give haircuts?
Yeah. Well, I might do better the second time. Who knows?
You did great. Aaron, I think you got one, and then I mean, I know that Lee's probably going to have something that he wants to say once I give Digger the time to do a little plug, obviously, for coming on tonight and supporting us. And tons of people saw obviously Digger shaved my head a couple weeks back, in the winter. And the thing is that so we had something that came up, and we had to end up moving it back about a week. And I'm so glad that happened, because the day that we were going to do it, about 2 hours beforehand, it dropped 20 degrees and started snowing, and that would have been uncomfortable, really uncomfortable. So there was a bunch of people like, do it anyway. Like, no. But Aaron, you and I think the puppy might have a question.
Yeah, definitely. So, hey, my name is Aaron Shepard. I am a student at Clemson University. I study electrical engineering, and I've also done some really cool space robotics internships at NASA Langley. So just to end the questions, sorry, my dog. Oh yeah, and I'm Magneto. Just to end the questions on a high note, what is the funniest thing that happened to you while you were in space?
The funniest thing, well, it was and this, I actually shouldn't tell on myself like this. A lot of times if I get stabbed with something I don't want to do, I try to make a joke out of it so I don't get asked a second time. And I was real busy. I was the pilot on the mission, and what that means is the pilot on the mission, on a space shuttle mission, is primarily responsible for getting the crew up and getting the crew back. Then all the days you spend in space, you're basically everybody else's gopher. You're taking care of all the systems on board. You're cleaning the toilets. You're getting people's dinners ready. You're making sure they stay hydrated. You're basically running around doing a bunch of things to make sure that the crew is working safely, efficiently, and comfortably. And so I was real busy. And my commander, at the last minute, told me that I was in charge of an interview that we were supposed to conduct with another person on the crew. In this case, it was the other rookie on the mission, Mike Massimino, who was a spacewalker. I was supposed to interview him about his first spacewalk that he'd ever done and what it was like. And I'm like, Scooter, I don't want to do this. I don't have time for this. I don't like being in front of a camera. I don't want to. He goes, Digger, do it. So when we got in front of the camera there, and this is being broadcast all over the world, usually these types of things, in fact, always in the past, these types of things have been quite serious, and he asked serious questions and all that. Well, I started joking around with Mike, and he got real confused as to where the interview was going. And I felt like, man, if I screw this up bad enough, I won't get asked to do it. Well, sadly, it turns out that everybody thought it was really funny, and apparently Mission Control was just in stitches. And guess who had to do that dang interview every day for them?
Not at all surprised by that one. So before I go to Lee, Digger, what I want to do is I want to give you a moment to let everybody know. As we mentioned a little bit earlier, I'm really fortunate to be able to do awesome stuff with Digger at the Space Foundation, the Discovery Center where I work, and virtually. And my partner in crime, Slade, is just wonderful guy, and he's been conducting the interviews with you, and we got one coming up. But you do this in a variety of different ways across the country. You all travel all the time. So I want everybody to know a little bit about 180 Out, what you do, and then also how people can reach out to you to hook up a contract. You talk to schools all the time. Digger is wonderful in front of a room full of students. They're always, very, very engaged. I'll put it that way. There's lots of laughter and lots of wonderful questions. So give us a little bit of a breakdown of that.
Yeah, the contact information, just get on the web and go to astronaut-biker.com. That's all one word, astronaut-biker.com. And you'll see what our business 180 Out Incorporated is all about. But basically, the way it started was Cheryl and I left NASA at the end of 2004. And we knew that we loved to ride motorcycles, and we knew that we loved to travel. And we knew we were passionate about America. We're passionate about the future of mankind. And after we got our house in order here in Colorado Springs, after a couple of months, we're sitting around one night feeling sorry for ourselves. And my wife said, well, what are we going to do now? And I said, well, I don't know, but it has to involve riding motorcycles. And she came up with the idea of a business kind of a business plan deal where we would visit schools all over the United States, except we'd do our travel on motorcycle. That way I'd always be in a good mood when I got to the schools. And it turned out that kids were, I didn't realize this, growing up like I did, my story was very common, but it's not very common in the astronaut corps. And kids were entranced with my story and my personal background. And basically, I like to say that when I talk to kids, after it's all over, they go home, no matter how old they are, they go home, they look themselves in the mirror, and they go, if that dummy Digger can do it, then I can do it. And that's what I want to leave with my young audience, is that there are no excuses, there are no impediments. It's all on you, and you can do this. But you have to commit, you have to work hard, and you have to never give up. And we've all heard that time and time again. But I'm living proof that you do not have to be Superman in order to fly in space.
Well stated. Lee, I'll give it over to you for some final thoughts. And we do want to remind everybody, the live stream will continue after. We're going to talk more to the incredible science communicators that we have on, dig into some of the cool stuff that they do and why they decided to join Passage. And again, if you're watching tonight, do please go check out that link that's scrolling at the very, very bottom of the screen. Throw the donations in. And if we hit $17,000 tonight, we are going to announce one of the first winners for that Martian analog training that's coming up here real soon. Lee, I'll give it over to you for your final thoughts, bro.
Yeah, and first of all, Digger, before you go, thank you so much for being here and absolutely incredible advice. You don't hear it very often when you're, in school or just in general, that you have the power, the sole power to chase whatever it is that, that you want to do, even if, you failed calculus a million times or whatever it is. I'm just saying that might be my situation. But yeah, so we are actually at $15,175. If we hit $17,000 tonight, we are going to announce the first analog astronaut that will be going to the Mojave Desert with MLARS. And so Digger and his wife, Cheryl, are going to be there at Kennedy Space Center for our documentary film premiere. If you go to the GoFundMe down there that's scrolling on by, you'll be able to see all of the different rewards that we have for donating different amounts. And you can join us at Kennedy Space Center. Join an astronaut at Kennedy Space Center, as well as all of these science communicators that we have here and many other amazing people in aerospace. So thank you so much, Digger, for joining us today. And we definitely have quite a bit to go to 17,000, but we can get it done. And hopefully we can announce who wins tonight, the first slot in our analog astronaut mission.
Yeah, just remember that this a portion of this money could be the money that inspires the right child somewhere in some country that we can't even pronounce to help us make incredible advances and open up the solar system to human exploration and habitation.
Definitely.
And Digger, we really can't thank you enough. Just a quick reminder to everybody. If you want to see more of Digger, we do have that awesome event that's coming up. Go check out discoverspace.org. Go to events. You'll find Audience with an Astronaut on January 19th. Digger will be speaking with our very own Slade Bradbury from the Space Foundation, talking about all kinds of awesome stuff. So I know we got started a little late. Digger, thank you for hanging out a little bit extra so that way we can get everybody's questions in. I would feel bad if we got like the last two people like, haha, sorry, Aaron and Esther. So we really appreciated that. You came on tonight, again, being giving of your time and as generous as you always are. And thanks for the awesome haircut. Definitely one that I'm going to be putting in like my teaser for my TV show. Like, do you know anybody who's ever had their haircut by an astronaut? That's going to be like one of my first lines that I say. So I'm super stoked about that. So thank you so much for joining us tonight. And Cheryl, I know you're in the background. You're awesome too.
Thanks.
Thank you so much. And we'll see you on the next one. Well, I mean, I don't know. I'll see you in person for a while, but I'll see you virtually whenever you and Slade do that on the 19th.
Come on, 17K.
Bye, Digger.
Bye, Digger.
Thank you.
So, I mean, obviously, awesome
So that was
first
fun.
hour. Yeah, that always awesome. You know, Digger is always a blast and always full of wisdom and just a wonderful person. Go check out 180 Out if you've not been on the website yet. They're always traveling a lot across the country. They love it. They can only do so much right now. Virtual is pretty much the way to go. But he is, as you can tell, just as effective virtually as he is in person. So thank you to everybody for joining us so far tonight. And we're going to dive a little bit more into the awesome science communicators that we have. Julie, I want to kind of dive into the stuff that you do first, simply because I know that you have to leave soon and go study, and then we're going to go to Aaron because both of you are in the whole I got finals, I can't fail them. So Julie, let's go to you first. Give everybody a little bit more of your background and the cool stuff that you do, and where people can find you on the interwebs.
All right. Hi, my name is Julie Seven Sage. I am a junior in high school, so I'm 16 years old. I do a lot of stuff. Like, it's just all over the board. So I have my own YouTube show, which is called Seven Sage Labs. And on there, I do multiple shows, such as Supernova Style Science News, where I share different science news, just across all areas of science. I also have the Steam Shop, which is the set I'm on right now, where I just do different building stuff, different kit reviews, I've done a few Lego reviews. I also have another show called Sci-Facts, where I just do a bunch of random sci-facts about a single topic. So I've done a video about koalas at one point. And then also I have a fourth show called Sage Lab Notes, where I talk about more of what's going on, and so also a little bit, the main videos that I have on that one is about Kappa that happened. And then I'm planning on starting a fifth show called Science Sage. So that's my whole channel. I also do different invention stuff. So recently I'm in the X Prize competition, top 10. So that's whoa. I also do different science experiments and through the Cubes in Space program. I just do a whole bunch of stuff, and I'm not going to keep going because I could go on for another hour.
Absolutely nothing wrong with that at all. Sorry about that. I thought that I had unmuted myself, and I had not. Surprised. That is the mute thing in general is just the thing of 2020, right? No, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I can't imagine there's anybody on here that's not doing 4 or 5 different things. Like Dr. Proctor wasn't doing enough. She's like, I'm going to become an artist. And so that's her new thing. I can never keep up with everybody. I can barely keep up with myself. Sometimes I'll wake up and be like, oh, I'm doing a new thing.
It's fun.
Teen, though.
Art is fun.
Teen. I was learning how to tie my shoes. So
right?
Art is fun. I fully support being an artist. That's why one of the things I was doing art for an assignment. I'm doing the internal squid anatomy right now for an artist for a zoology class.
I was wondering what the hell that was for a moment. I'm like, what in earth? This is child friendly.
We're making racing squids. So yesterday we did the external anatomy. I did which way is this? Okay, external anatomy, and we're doing.
Is that for water? Or are they just race car squids?
We're putting balloons on them. I have no clue how it's going to work. We're doing it tomorrow, so I have to finish the back of it.
So flying squids.
Yeah, it's going to be like a flying squid. So I have to draw the internal anatomy tonight, so that's fun.
All right. Pretty cool.
So I'm gonna laugh about that forever. Of course, I mean, if there's anything else that you want to share with us, I know that you had to go and study. If there's anything else that you want to share, okay, I know you got your YouTube channel and you share your social media channel. Anything else other than your 8 shows? And of course, if you still want to stay for a little bit longer, I'm not telling you have to leave, but I do know that it was something that you mentioned before you came on the show, and I don't want to be responsible for you or Aaron failing something next week and then getting a letter from that's Sparkman.
Oh, don't worry, I can fail a class all on my own, man.
Hey, Ron.
I mean, I could talk about a few more of the X Prize thing, and then also some of the space experiments I've done. If you want me to do that.
Yeah, give us all the
all
details.
Right, so
we're talking about the SciComm, yeah.
Yes. So for the X Prize, that is my most recent invention. And the X Prize competition was designing a brand new face mask for people to use. And so I got into the top 10. Tomorrow they're announcing the top 5. And yeah, so I designed my face mask. The specific thing with my face mask is inclusivity. That was the main thing with mine, of making sure that the mask can adapt to people and people don't have to adapt to the mask. So for instance, I made sure that my mask had a design for it to be able to be extended for beards, because there are many religions and cultures where men can't cut their beards. And a lot of the doctors in those cultures are having a lot of trouble because a lot of them, they're in more danger because the beard interrupts the seal, so they're not as safe. I also had like a bunch of other things. So for adaptations for people that have hijabs, limb differences, oxygen and feeding tubes, just different hair. So like if you can't wear around the head or ear loops, so the elastics can be switched out for that. Also, I had my filtration. So a lot of companies, it's like you can only buy their filter to put it in. For mine, I was having it where you could cut your own material and put it in easily, as well as you could put in pre-made filters. So that would fight against the shortage problem that was so evident back in the beginning of the whole pandemic situation in America, where basically you couldn't find any masks at all. So for this, you can, if you have any materials like polypropylene or just anything, cotton, whatever, you could put that in and it would work. Also, I have 2 patent pendings currently with this single invention for parts of it, which is the amplifying ring in the front, which does actually work, by the way. It does work with the prototype. And it's like 5 to 9 decibels increase, which is like, it's a lot. And then also I have like a pump seal design, and that's my second patent pending. So yeah, that's the X Prize, my mask design. Like a quick.
You're how old again?
16.
No. Whatever. I'm done with you. Like, does anybody else just be like, I'm just like, oh man, I thought I had a good 2020 and never mind.
It's fine. Right. I've gotten told that all my life. It's fine.
That is so awesome. I mean, it's always, well, and I think one of the best things about it is the joy in your face when you're talking about it. Like, it's not like somebody's forcing you to do these things. It's something that you love to do, and it's a passion that you very clearly wear on your sleeve, just like everybody else here does. And it's awesome to see. You rarely see teenagers that are on fire about what it is that they're doing. Or having the ability to do, or creating, or inventing. And I think it's something that, I mean, this is actually kind of a really good segue to kind of go into what Aaron does. He is an inventor now, doing all kinds of cool stuff that almost looks like magic at times. And that's not the path he was on. Like, I was in medical school, and I was just like, nope, I'm good. I'm out. So I think that's kind of a perfect segue into kind of what you do, Aaron. And I know that you've got an announcement you've got a cool little thing. And you know what? I think I might steal your video. We should put that up and show like the new teaser that you got out.
Oh yeah, definitely. You are more than welcome to do that. So yeah, like Ron mentioned, and kind of going into Digger's story, like him, I was on a completely different path. I was going to be this doctor. I was going to make lots of money. My life was going to be cush, but I didn't feel. It's something about that didn't feel right. And I remember one day in class, I was watching the European Space Agency land on a comet, and I was like, I want to do that. I don't want to save people's lives. Like, forget saving people. So I dropped out of med school. A lot of people asked me, why would you do that? You're giving up such a good opportunity. And I was just like, it's not what I'm passionate about. And so I started doing electrical engineering. I got really into robotics. And then while doing robotics, I also have had this weird obsession ever since I was a little kid to be able to control things with my mind. So I got into brain-computer interfaces, and then all that led to, all that led to me. I built a robot that I could drive with my mind, and I was like, oh, hey, this is cool. And so me being a card-carrying nerd, just like everyone else here, I started showing that off. And then I met enough people, and they said, hey, you should do something with this. So I started a company. It's called Cogito. And what we do is we make things that you can control with your mind. We just released our first products. They're called Neurovibes, and they are LED lights that you control with your mind. They're so cool. Like you put on the headset, and if you make your mind focused, the lights turn red. If you relax, the lights turn blue. And then if you balance your focus and relaxation, the lights go like this rainbow color. And this is only the beginning. Like we talked about backstage, and like Ron mentioned earlier, I've actually hooked up my brain stuff to an electromagnet, or to an electromagnet. And so now I can like magnetically pick up things by thinking. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm Magneto. I have powers. This is awesome. So yeah, that's what I do. For me,
I have to say that this is in our personal chat here, but it's too funny because it's the catch line for your commercial from now. Neuro vibes, your brain just be vibing.
Oh, that's great. Oh, that's all. I'm stealing that.
Wait,
Right, you just gotta credit me though.
Micaiah just made it up and put it in the. That's what I was saying. Like, I've got to say this one to everybody. So if you need me to do the voiceover, man, I'm there for you.
Dude, yes, I'm gonna hit you up for sure. But
you got me, man. You got me.
And like everything else, like most of the science communicators here, like, yes, there is something that I'm passionate about, but within that passion, I realize that there is a larger mission to accomplish with it. And in my case, like, I'm looking at this technology and like this exotic way to apply technology, and you can help treat people with ADHD. You can help treat people who have trouble relaxing. You can help treat stroke patients. There's so many potential applications. So this is more than this is a passion project. Hey, this is cool. There is a deeper meaning to what I do and to what everyone else here does. Hence why we are all so on board with Passage.
Awesome stuff. And I'm going to bring this up now so that way everybody can check out the little teaser that you got out. And well, if it decides to show up, it's going to be one of those days. Okay, here we go.
Break the streets up.
That beat though.
Yeah, it's hot.
Okay. Break the streets up. Yeah.
Looking all thin. Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome stuff, man. Killing it. Absolutely killing it. So Lee, we haven't done an update in a little bit. We got to tell everybody about what's going on, why we're here tonight for the Passage fundraiser before we get to some of our other awesome science communicators. So let everybody know some of the perks. The perks are the best part. If you donate, like, it's not like you're just donating, which is why you want to do it anyway, because it's a great thing to give to. But there's awesome stuff that comes along with it when you do, which is just the best part. So Lee, you want to fill us in on a little bit of stuff, and also tell everybody what we might do tonight if we get to $17,000. We might give something away out here. Guess who's muted? This is the professional filmmaker, ladies and gentlemen. I do it all the time. Yeah, I'm literally a professional live streamer now, and I do it 3 times a stream.
Yeah, and Ron actually made his first commercial, which is pretty good. Not gonna lie.
Wait,
I got a sneak peek.
I had to give the credit where the credit is due. I was fortunate enough to get the awesome Zach Tompkins to come in, and so Lee's seen it. Nobody else has seen it yet, but we did a commercial for the Space Foundation Discovery Center. We had 20 seconds, and you hear 20 seconds, and you just don't know. How that's going to come about. But Zach Tompkins from Iconic Imaging came through. We put it all together. He helped realize the vision, and also gave me awesome training skills on how I can be, a better filmmaker and creator. So I can't thank him enough. And that'll be coming out soon. And it's so good.
Yeah, it's awesome. So there's a lot of stuff that you'll get for donating. Again, if you're watching this right now at this very second, go click this link right now, because we have a lot of awesome perks that we are doing, and specifically tonight for, let's say, $25. That's the kind of golden ticket at this very moment in the space-time continuum. We're giving away 6 astronaut crew positions for analog astronaut training in the Mojave Desert with a company called MMARS, the Mars Moon Astronautics Academy and Research Science. And tonight, if we hit $17,000, we're just a little under $2,000 away. If we get a bunch of people to donate $25, we will pick very early. We're not announcing these until later in the year. But tonight, we will pick our first analog astronaut for that specific mission that's happening next summer. So Donate $25. Tell your friends. Tell people that are maybe aspiring astronauts that are over the age of 18 that are eligible. And click the link down there, and you'll see there's on our website. You'll see where you can find more info about that sort of stuff. But there's other stuff that you'll get to. We have our Passage Masterclasses. So everyone that you're seeing on this live stream tonight will be creating a masterclass about what they do and how to get anyone, kids, students, people that are looking for, degree choices. What do they want to do? And what are the different options in STEM? So we're making a huge library of all these videos that'll be accessible to anyone that donates $25 as well. So $25 gets you an entry into that contest to win astronaut training and access to those master classes, and a bunch of other things. Go on, click that link right now. If you're still here, go ahead and click this link, but also listen in the background because we're still talking and it's going to be a lot of fun. But there's a lot of other rewards, t-shirts, patches, parties, our documentary premiere at Kennedy Space Center. A flight on the Spirit of Science, which is the aircraft that we're taking to South America. You'll be able to fly on it after the flight is over, the flight to South America. So it'll be back here in the States. But $1,000, you'll get your name on the plane, and then just go through the list. There's a lot of really cool stuff, and depending on what you're able to contribute, we'll make sure that you get something really awesome.
Super awesome, and I am going to say this name wrong, so I am sorry if I do, but we have to thank you for giving a $100 donation. I think it's Sigalit Ashwal.
Yeah, that's my mom.
If I said that, huh? What?
That's my mom. Hi, Mom.
Is that your actual mom?
That's my actual mom. Yeah. Weird name.
It's a wonderful name. I did not know that was your actual mom.
No, go pronounce it. Go ahead.
I did. Yeah, I'm sure it wasn't. I bet it was terrible. How do you actually say it?
It's pretty. I have no idea if she's watching. She is not really into space. Whenever I talk to her about space, she's like, oh, what are you talking about again? Is that like the thing that goes up?
It's okay,
yeah.
But mine aren't either. They're not about it. That's fine.
It's super funny.
She's a psychologist, so that's also pretty cool. But yeah, space is not her forte. But thanks, Mom. Love you.
Well, this is actually a perfect little lead into this. I was rewatching because I never got to see. I didn't get to see the whole thing. I actually watched it live. At the time, I didn't have a DVR, but I finally got to watch the entirety of the episode where you got to go to Russia and how we met through the student astronaut contest. And I was unaware, because I didn't know her at the time, that Micaiah has a cameo in that as well. She pops up in the episode. So there's a quick you waving. Did you know that you were in it?
And wait, what was
the
it
exploration outer space for the student astronaut contest? Like when they start talking about all the different people that are that all the amazing entries and stuff, like you're one of them. Yeah, and I just didn't know you then. So really? We've only known each other for like a year and a half. So when it originally came out, I just didn't recognize you. So yeah.
We should have a launch party.
I think that's how I found Micaiah.
Huh?
No, we should.
I think that's how I found Micaiah.
There you go.
Was through
yeah,
the thing.
so it's if you go watch it, it's on Amazon.
Surprise appearance, I guess.
Yeah,
wow.
yeah. So go check that out. It's on. Let's just break it down. One of the best science communicators today. Very definitely one of the biggest things in SciComm and space. Emily Calandrelli has an awesome TV show. Actually, she's got two of them now. But the original TV show is Exploration Outer Space, and she has fantastic contests for students, like a lot of the folks that are on here, called the Student Astronaut Contest. And that's how Lee and myself met some years ago and became buddies, and he almost killed me on our drive to go watch our first rocket launch. Good times. Never, ever get in a car with Lee yet, just saying. It's terrifying.
Bad drivers. Wait. I have to say, bad drivers are great pilots. That's all I have to say.
He's just used to nobody being around him. He can do whatever he wants.
Yeah, that's true.
So it was awesome to watch that one, and just got a little emotional. It's just because it's so cool to see the experience. But at one point in the episode, his mom calls, and so I just think it's funny that you're like, she's not really all that excited about it, because she sounded pretty excited from what you could hear on the episode. But
I was like 19 going to Russia.
Dude, it was awesome.
Again.
And, again, I was going to say for real again, but that's a great lead into somebody that's going to be joining us on the next live stream to talk about cool stuff. Are we allowed to talk about it yet, Lee? Is it?
I think so.
Is it time to talk about it?
It's time to talk about it. Oh, I guess I'm talking about it. Yeah, Emily Calandrelli is joining us next time. And we are going to be talking about skepticism in science. So as a lot of you know already, for those of you watching, you probably don't know, but we're filming here at Flying Ostrich Media. We're filming a Flat Earth documentary. We went to the Flat Earth convention last year, and we're going to be sharing clips for the first time in the next live stream as well. And just talking about, so Emily's really good at communicating science and learning how and teaching others how to communicate to audiences that don't necessarily agree in a way that doesn't, invoke hostility or anything like that. Because I'm sure we've all gotten to an argument with somebody we don't agree with, and it just kind of escalated to a place that it doesn't need to go to. So that's a very important topic in science communication. We're going to cover that next time with Emily Calandrelli and also Tato from Barranquilla, Colombia. He's going to be joining us. He's part of a group called the Grupo Apollo, which is like an astronomy outreach program in Barranquilla, which is one of the places that we're visiting for Passage. We're doing a huge astronomy party on the beach in Colombia with close to 20,000 people. That's what we're planning right now. Yeah, I mean, he's going to come on. He's going to talk about what he does. And yeah, we're hopefully going to get some more schools on board for the next live stream. So that's going to be a pretty cool one to join. But of course, this one's also really cool. We had an astronaut on, and of course, everyone here is still on, which we have a pretty badass group here today. So
we do indeed. I agree with you 100%. And just want to do a quick shout out to, again, John Reed, who has given more than once. I think this is like the 4th or 5th donation on top of the books. So thank you, John Reed, for your $25 donation. Don't forget, everybody, go down to the white on hot pink link there below. Really easy. Go and check it out. Check out all the perks and all the awesome things that you can be involved in and help us get those supplies to South America. Computers, telescopes, all kinds of fun stuff, man. Teaching science to the kids. So it's very, very exciting. So next up, I'm going to go to who is now knows that she is a TV star. So yeah, Micaiah, how's it feeling to know that you were on TV and never knew it?
Well, dang, I better get my IMDb or whatever it's called ready.
That's it, IMDb.
IMDb, yeah. The director just talked, yeah. So, yeah, I'll get that ready. You can give me some advice, and I'm sure Cyan can also give me some tips. So
Cyan's been on all kinds of TV shows, and I mean, this is we're mentioning again. If you throw in $25, you could possibly do Mars analog training, and the two of you actually had a really, really awesome experience right around a year ago as the first all woman group to go to the high seas for Sensoria. I was lucky enough earlier this year. If you want to go check it out, please do, because it was a wonderful interview. I had the entire team on for Space for You Live, and that was just an absolute blast to talk to all of them and hear their individual experiences. And it's just super, super exciting. So I definitely want to talk about that with both of you for a little bit. So Micaiah, tell us a little bit about the experience, what people might experience. I guess I shouldn't have used that word already. So what people might experience if they're one of the people that win tonight.
Right. So I think the thing to understand about these things is, I mean, you're coming usually with a diverse group of people, and whether you may know some people, like before, I knew Cyan a little bit and we met up a few times, but I've never actually been in an isolated place with her, stuck with her for a long period of time.
You hear that phrasing, stuck with her for a long period of time. I mean, Cyan, anything you'd like to say about that? Jerry, I'm just kidding.
Well, people often reference me that way.
I'll stuck with Cyan for
and we survived. Yes. But it's just so a unique, challenging, growth, inducing experience. Because it's, of course, you may be there to do science, test technology. You're doing these spacewalks and looking at rocks and doing all these things. Like, that is all awesome. The science portfolio could be for itself just outstanding. But I think the overall thing that you get from these is you can get really close with your crew, and grow as an individual and as a group. The teamwork is like has to be at the forefront. So if you really want like a fun challenge that, you know, puts you into a place that like, oh, you know, if this is really it, you know, if you really just had yourself, your crew, and your habitat to survive, you know, try to put yourself in that mindset. This is one of the few places where you can really do that. And I think it's amazing.
Love it. And Sai, I want to go to you in just a moment, but Aaron's got to leave, so I want to give Aaron the chance to bow out and let everybody know where to find him on social media. And just thank you for coming on again, man. It's always a pleasure to see you. You're always up to something new. Always got something cool that's coming out that's like ninja stuff. So give everybody a quick breakdown.
Yes. So if you guys want to follow me, my handle is right there on the screen at Space Cadet Shep. That is Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok. Yes, I have a TikTok. So yeah, it was super fun to come on tonight. I love doing these things. I love the mission of passage, and to be around such an amazing group of people is nothing short of inspiring. So yeah, till next time, y'all. Peace.
So I definitely hit the type here to search button by accident. Aaron, thank you. Please glowing now as a goodbye.
I'm controlling you with my mind. I'm coming for you, Magneto.
Okay. Yeah, you wait till we get to Kennedy Space Center, man. You talking all that trash. All right, see y'all.
Well, mine can't change color, so you already won.
All right, bye, y'all.
Bye, Aaron. Good luck.
So, Sai, let's go to you next to talk a little bit about your experience on that one, and then you've got some big news about something that's coming out tomorrow.
Yeah, so the Sensorium mission was awesome. It was the first all-female crew at high seas, but that was what was special for me was the fact that I was going back to high seas. I was part of the very first crew to live in the high seas habitat, and that was for 4 months, and it was funded by NASA to investigate food strategies for long duration space flight. And so it was a real privilege to be able to go back 7 years later with an all-female crew, and of course Micaiah was there, and I really enjoyed the fact that I was the oldest, she was the youngest, and being both African American females, that to me was really special because in the history of high seas, there's been me, Micaiah, and one other person I think from Europe that someone said, and so not a lot of diversity when it comes to African American females. And one of the things that I like to promote is getting a conversation started through my Afronaut space art about people of color in space, particularly women of color in space, and what Afrofuturism and what does that look like, and playing with those kinds of themes. And so, but being in a Mars or moon simulation is an amazing experience. That's why I'm kind of like the serial analog astronaut. I've got my sweatshirt on right here. And I've been to the Mars Desert Research Station for 2 weeks, high seas twice, Lunaris, and anytime there's an opportunity to kind of sign up and go, I want to do it because you really learn a lot about yourself. Like Micaiah was saying, crew cohesion, getting to know people, getting to see how you interact, and whether you have it's not about the right stuff, but just that mental growth to be able to handle something like long duration space flight as we go to the moon and on to Mars. Oh, and
yep, I was gonna say, well, and there's also you were just telling us about something in private chat. Everybody will get to see your smiling face on TV once again.
My new show is dropping on the Science Channel tomorrow. It's called what is it called? Oh my God, Conspiracies Decoded. And this one was a lot of fun to shoot because it's all about really interesting things that have happened, stories of people disappearing or strange occurrences. And we're going in and we're breaking it down from a scientific point of view of what could have really happened in this situation. And so fun, interesting, and really, like I said, the stories are pretty unique.
The Earth is flat, man. So,
well, Then would come in, fly me to space so I can disprove that.
For real, like I've been talking about this for a while. Kevin De Bruin, another one of the awesome influencers, is part of the group. I was talking to him about it a while ago, and I'm like, man, we really need to come up with something like a GoFundMe for this, and we should fly on Virgin Galactic, film the whole thing, do a live stream if Wi-Fi is available, and do like a whole breakdown of it. Like we're gonna break down all the science leading up to it and blah blah blah. So I told him about this like 2 years ago, and we haven't really done anything about it because we both haven't been so busy. But I think that would be an awesome idea. Don't spend a bunch of money for flat earthers to go and try to prove the world's flat, because we all know it's not. It's not going to happen. So what we're going to end up seeing is them just looking like morons. Spend that money on the real deal, man. Like show real science. But yeah, Sai, go ahead.
The thing that kills me is, send up a high altitude balloon. Like Flat Earther, we'll help you build it.
It's not even expensive.
We'll send it up. You can get photos back of the curvature of the Earth from 1,000 feet, and we'll say, look, you actually took photos.
Wait. I have got an idea.
Students do it every year.
Lee, I've got an idea. I know that you have the show. Eventually, it's coming out. Like you did this thing like 2 years ago now. Eventually, we'll actually get the thing. And I know you're a perfectionist. Whatever. It was like 3. Whatever. I'm just kidding. No, but Lee's a perfectionist when it comes to his films, and for very good reason. His stuff's awesome. Which is really weird that you were able to make a video like super quick and get it out, because you're just normally like, everything's gonna be perfect. I can't believe you threw something together that quick. So that was shocking to me. He's growing up. Our whole boy's growing up. Go ahead.
Well, so the video that you guys saw earlier, and that I'll be posting tomorrow on the Passage page. So we actually did like maybe 4 different versions of that. We did one at the beach that kind of looked like the Interstellar. Like I literally went maybe like 50 feet into the water up to here. I broke one of my lavalier microphones because the transmitter was on my hip at the time. And the camera was too shaky. And like the waves were too high, so we didn't do it. And so we tried something again. We filmed on the green screen over here. It just didn't look that good. And so I was just like, man, I need to get a video out. And so I just filmed in my underwear today, me wearing a space helmet, walking around my house in quarantine. But anyway, flat Earth wise.
Okay, so just real quick, I want to give some love here real fast. So Gary Talbot is he worked in film and worked for Wendy's for like 20 years, and he is the newest addition to our film crew, like our team at the Space Foundation. And Gary's absolutely hysterical. If he's got something on his mind, you're going to know it. And I love the fact that he said flat earthers are a cult. You are not wrong at all whatsoever. I mean, it's kind of weird. But so Lee did a whole film on this, and then I've got an idea for the sequel once you tell everybody about this episode you got coming up.
Well, yeah, so it's called Flat Earth Phenomenon. It's gonna be coming out. We're still wrapping up filming. We have a few things left to film, and it's a story about communication and with the conspiracy communities, I guess, and the fact that on the internet you get confirmation all the time, no matter what you believe, as crazy as it is. And we talk about sending a flat earther up, or sending getting other people to like at first it was like, oh, flat earthers don't trust the government. And then SpaceX took a picture, and now it's like, oh, they don't trust billionaires. And then like regular people sent up balloons. And it's like, oh my God, now everything's a hologram and a simulation. So no matter what you do, there's always going to be an excuse in order to continue their communities and their conspiracy beliefs. It's not even about the beliefs anymore. And Emily Calandrelli said it best. She said, you can't use logic to get someone out of an argument that they didn't use logic to get themselves into. So I just thought that was it was like the perfect way to describe it.
Well stated. So it's super funny. Like, I can't believe that Max said this, because this is my idea completely, Mac. That's funny. He said, let's get Tori involved with the balloon. So Tori Carissimo from Overlook Horizon, one of the best streamers that's out there right now, is the man. And that's one of the things that he does. Another awesome filmmaker. Just everything he does is incredible. One of the best sitcoms that's out there right now. Definitely we should get him in for that one. I think that would be a great idea to have him do the balloon.
I did reach out to him last year, and I think it was just a scheduling issue or something that we couldn't do it. But I think now, because coronavirus set everything back anyway, maybe we can pull some money together and do one anyway. Just do a flat Earth centered balloon launch, because that's kind of a big part of the film itself. We were just going to use other footage, but if we could do one in person, that would be really cool.
I think that's a great. Okay,
Yeah.
so just so everybody knows, in a couple weeks, not this Saturday, but next Saturday on Space Fam, I'm going to do an episode it's going to be. We're going to kindly debunk the flat Earth. We're going to talk about it, talk about all the facts, not not degrade anybody or mess with anybody. It's going to be like, here's how we know. Here's how we first found out. Here's what's going on. Here's the science behind it. Here's how you can test it. We're going to go over like the stuff that Bill Nye's talked about. Tried to get Kevin DeBruin on, but he's busy. But we'll probably end up showing like his episode that he did that has like 7 different ways that you can know that the Earth isn't flat. So we're going to go over that in a few weeks. So I think that one's going to be really, really fun. And Mac says that he's in. So Mac has officially decided to help us fund that. I'm just kidding, Mac. But I think that'd be an awesome follow up. So yeah, we definitely got to get on that. So Lee, I can't wait for it to come out, man. I've seen a bit of the scenes that you shared with me before, and it looks awesome. So I can't wait to check it out. And Lee is actually, I think we already talked about this, but Lee's going to be on that show. He's going to be on that with me. So I'm looking for that. We talked about that, right? I did officially
with some clips. I think it's due that we release some clips.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I mean, we can do that on the show. So if you want to get a couple together, you got a week and a half. You want to throw a couple clips, and we'll get it out there and be like, that might be the only part that kind of comes across as a little nudging. But I mean, we should nudge a little bit, but let's get something out there that at least is as kind as possible. Of here's the facts, and if you choose to ignore them, fair enough. But yeah. Obviously we've got a ton of wonderful science communicators that are on here tonight. Esther, kind of want to go to you next. So one of the things that we all love, and one of the reasons that this brings it to mind is I want to talk a little bit about our friend Mac, who's been in the comment section too. Is that Mac just got like 100 telescopes, and Mac has a very similar kind of platform to what Lee is doing, but he's doing it through the Arab-speaking nations. Awesome guy. I think he is still our single highest one donation, like the biggest one donation that anybody's done so far. Was
Janet's Planet. Janet's Planet.
Janet,
as well.
we got to talk about Janet. So Janet came in and tied with Mac on that one. So we love Janet, obviously. I love Janet. I work with her all the time. So that's one part of the fun of my job is I get to work with her and Cyan and everybody to explore Mars. But Esther, this is something you go out and you do all the time, teaching kids, and it's something that's obviously a big passion of yours. So I definitely want to talk about that a little bit. What would you do with 100 telescopes?
Well, make sure that we can get Julie to. I think she's about to.
Do you need to go, Julie?
Real quick.
My computer's at 4%.
Yes. Okay. Well,
It's about to die.
Okay. Perfect. Well, I'm sorry. We'll get to you in just a moment, Esther. So, Julie, if you want to give us a quick bow out where people can find you on social media and stuff again, so that way they can go check out your stuff.
Yeah, so my YouTube, 7 Stage Labs, but I have the because it's also over here. It's right here. Okay, the camera's backwards. You also can find me that on Twitter and Instagram. I also have Supernova Style Science News on Twitter and Instagram. I also post on those a lot. I will also be starting a TikTok soon, hopefully. I want to try to do TikTok, so yeah.
Love it. Well, Julie, thank you for hopping on. And Dr. Proctor, I see that you have to go as well. So we'll give you a quick moment to bow out and give everybody that time for the show tomorrow night so that they can check you out and all the awesome stuff that you're up to.
It's been a real pleasure to be here and, of course, to support this. I'm a big fan of open educational resources, getting things in the hands of kids, and having been to South America multiple times, specifically for astronomy. I hope that anybody who's listening will take the time to donate. And as far as me, you can follow me at Dr. Cyan Proctor, but also on TV, Strange Evidence, Conspiracies Decoded. I'm trying to think of what other ones. I just shot something the other day. And so lots of good stuff coming out with me on the Science Channel and the History Channel. So yeah, it'd be great if you could tune in. Thank you.
And your Instagram, did you mention your Instagram in the mornings where you drink coffee and tea with everybody and talk about stuff? You're still doing that, right?
I do. My tea in the morning. And again, it's Dr. Cyan Proctor. But also, if you're interested in my art that's behind me, I talk about and do space art as one of my things. And so, yeah, it's all good.
Love it. Thank you so much for coming on, Dr. Proctor. Always a pleasure. I think this is like the 40th live stream we've done this year, so it's always good to see you. This is the only way we've ever done this. Yeah, so eventually we'll be able to see each other in person. Give each other a hug.
I can't wait to meet you, Lee, and everybody, and Kennedy Space Center, and all of the things that are going to happen once we kick COVID in the.
That's right.
Move forward. So bye, everybody, and have safe, happy holidays.
Thank you.
And hi, Mac out there. Just shout out to Mac.
Come on, Mac Attack. Give him some love to Mac Attack. Oh, no, Mac. Okay, so Mac was serious. Mac is saying, seriously, that's what I meant. I will help fund the balloon. So, episode 2, there we go. So, we got to get Tori. We'll get Tori on the line. I'll send him an email. I'll send all of us an email, and we'll talk about that. That'd be super fun.
I want to be a part of that.
Absolutely. Of course. Yeah, absolutely. For sure.
Bye.
Yep. Bye.
Bye,
sorry. So, Esther, I want to go back to you next, and then I want to talk a little bit to Angelica before we wrap up the evening, and give Lee one more chance to give some love to everybody out there, and also to give that money. But yeah, so I mean, Esther, you're doing a lot of stuff with the Solar System Ambassadors, teaching and reaching out, and you have a really interesting platform too that has kind of changed over the years from gluten-free nerd to Space Cadet Esther now. So give us all the background on all the awesome stuff that you're doing.
Well, right now my primary focus is definitely doing outreach with kids, specifically Girl Scouts. I've got an event going on this weekend helping some girls do their space science investigator badge, and it's been a little bit more challenging just because of the quarantine, trying to think of fun ideas with them. So we'll do outdoor activities where we take like half a mile up and like line them up and set up different objects to kind of give them the perspective on the planets and things like that. But what you had brought up before with having access to 100 telescopes, oh my gosh, I would probably host a star party. I would have so much fun with kids just doing some form of outreach, showing them what's going on in the night sky. That would be incredible to have access to that many telescopes. It would be insane. Reminds me of like what Griffith Observatory was doing before the quarantine, where it was open to the public, and it was the Planetary Society and the Los Angeles Astronomical Society would come out, and everyone would set up the telescopes. So just the lawn littered with telescopes, and it's just really exciting to tell people what was going on in the night sky.
Which, I mean, honestly, it's one of the things I really look forward to. And this, I got to give a quick shout out to OPT Telescopes, who I do Clear Skies Network. If you haven't ever been on Clear Skies Network on Twitch, go check it out. Twitch.tv/Clear Skies Network, all together. And they do a lot of really amazing things. We got live streams that are over there. We're going to, I'm going to start partnering with the awesome Bill Nash, and we're going to do an intro to astro. So astronomy, astrophotography, all that stuff, where I'm going to ask all the questions that you want to know the answers to, because I'm really kind of just getting started. But they did a really awesome episode recently for their YouTube channel called Women of Astronomy, and Esther, you got to be a part of that, along with some really wonderful other ladies that are doing awesome stuff for astronomy. So want to tell us a little bit about the experience? I know that you got to go visit. I saw like pictures of you, Mac, and Dustin. So I know that had to be an awesome time. I can't wait to go back. Oh, I can't wait to go back.
You have to come and visit. Dustin and Mac are like the nicest people ever. OPT is an incredible resource for the community, and they're so generous. And I'm really fortunate that I got to go and spend some time with them. And I'm very thankful that they included me in that video series that they did on YouTube. It was really cool to also just connect with more females that are involved in astronomy, because, so many of the events that I go to, like, I'm looking for that type of community, especially since I do so much outreach with Girl Scouts, that I want them to kind of have other social media handles or books that I can give them references to, or website that they have someone to identify with. So that video series really helped me a lot connect with a new series of people that I hadn't been too exposed to for the time being. But I can't wait for you to come out. You're going to have the best time at OPT Run.
Something that I talk about all the time, like I totally crack up. So last year, I met Esther for the first time. We all, a bunch of us went to Yuri's night. It was an absolute blast. Kevin DeBruin was there. Raquel Nino. I mean, just like the list of people, it's hard to even keep up with it. Like the people in the audience half of them are famous people too. They're just there to party. Like I was like, oh hey, there's Derek from Veritasium. You know what I mean? Like it's just the coolest thing ever. Yuri's Night's amazing if you've never been to one. And you got to go. Like there's no experience like it, and you can go to any of them. Like we have ours is a little bit different at the Space Foundation. Ours is a fundraiser too, but it's kind of like a mixture. But it's right before Space Symposium, so it's like where everybody's dressed up in like space outfits and makeup. At the one in LA, it's like all the awesome people in like suits and stuff. Bill Nye's walking around, you know, Amy Meinzer and stuff like that. All the people that are speaking that week. So it's kind of like
Ron, stop! You're just making me jealous. Oh my god! I missed Space Symposium this year. I'm so sad. That would be
the
so
one at
fun.
Kennedy is very fun too. Everybody goes dressed up as something crazy though. It's nothing professional. It's just for fun.
Yeah, exactly, and that's exactly what LA is like. LA, and Kennedy Space Center. Well, California Science Center, Kennedy Space Center. I think they do one in New York, and I think that they do one in DC, and all those are like that. It's just everybody is really packed. Yeah, and don't get me wrong, this is a party. Like we definitely have a good time, but it's just everybody's already like packed all their suits and stuff for the week, so everybody's just like dressy. So it doesn't mean everybody's not having a good time. It's in a museum and we're drinking. You know what I mean? So we end up having like 8 astronauts there that do autographs for free, and there's different specialty drinks and stuff. So it's always a blast. And one of the things that we're actually doing, we're going to start doing something similar to NASA socials with science communicators. So people are going to be able to reach out, and we're going to have a group of like 6 to 8 folks that'll come every year. We actually had a group with Social 6, I think is what we were calling it, something like that we're going to be at Symposium this year. But we're going to do that every year and bring people from like different spots. Now, they have to pay for their own way there, but once they get there, then they like the tickets are, you know, if you've never seen Space Symposium tickets, they're not cheap. So that, and then give them opportunities, and then I'll try and reach out to different folks, get people interviews and stuff like that. So that's something our team will be working on. So we're looking forward to that next August. Anyway, I completely forgot what I was talking about. Okay. So we went to Yuri's Night last year, but a couple of days before that, I went down to go see my friend in Oceanside, and I had no idea what OPT telescopes was yet. Like I think I'd probably seen it around, but I just didn't really know, and didn't know that the O stood for Oceanside. So I'm in that city, you know, running around having a good time, and quite literally some people that have become some of my favorite friends were right up the street, like making awesome telescopes. So yeah. So yeah, every time I see the pictures, I just get mad again, because Oceanside's the bomb. If you've never been to Oceanside, you got to go to Oceanside. It's beautiful. That is a little hidden secret right there. It's gorgeous.
You're going to have the best time when you come visit, Ron. Seriously.
Oh, I can't wait. I seriously cannot wait. And so, you know, just talking about like all these awesome stuff that we get to do. We have, again, so many amazing science communicators that have been on tonight. We can't thank anybody enough for joining us. We had some people that were going to join us tonight. Some things came up. They had to reschedule for next time. But every single time we do this, we get new faces, new folks coming out, hanging out with us, and talking about all the awesome things that we do. And Angelica this is her second time on the show with us. So I want to talk a little bit about all the awesome stuff that you do and the killer background that you've got. I know that you said that you were home for the holidays, right? So you just have a projection screen with the Earth up on the wall.
Yeah, I bring my projector everywhere, and I have a whole sound system. It's off right now, but it's way bigger than it looks on screen. But I love the thing, so I use it for backgrounds and stuff. Yeah, about me, I'm in a weird situation right now because I'm changing labs and projects. So I feel like I can't really go into detail on any other projects yet because they're so new to me. But I am going to be starting, hopefully, fingers crossed, some project with solar sails, kind of like space crash pad, because like there's a lot of debris and stuff. So the idea is to have solar sails kind of push them into the atmosphere to burn. So I'm going to start doing that, fingers crossed. And then super random that I might start doing, it's a thing with Disney, the parks. We'll it's kind of out there, very out of my comfort zone, but it sounds like fun. So I why not? And from the past, I talked about it last time we did a live stream, but I've done 2 projects for NASA. One of them just finished. Basically, it was a initial regolith collection device. So basically, when astronauts get to the moon, they need this device to collect a first initial sample of, moon dust and rocks. And the idea is that if anything goes wrong in the mission, if they have to abort it, they at least have that one sample. So it's not like in vain. So I worked on what could potentially be, what could potentially be the tool that they might take to the moon 2024. Hopefully, we'll see. And previous to that, I did something similar. It was a International Space Station GoPro mount. So basically, they needed a tiny GoPro mount for the International Space Station for the outside part for when they do EVAs, more towards the social aspect of it. So not necessarily like for mission help, but to like kind of have footage so they can share on social media and stuff. So I did that. And the cool thing about that project is that astronaut Victor Glover got to test it over at the NBL while he was training for the mission he's on right now. So I actually went to astronaut Victor Glover's launch. It was a Crew 1 for SpaceX, maybe 2-3 weeks ago, something like that. So I went to see him off. So that was really cool. But yeah, that's kind of what I do. I'm still a student, so kind of.
She's like, I'm just a student. I don't do a whole lot. You know, nothing really exciting. No big deal. See, that's twice tonight. That somebody's like, I don't really do a whole lot, and they go into this list of awesome things that they
like
do.
Digger saying average astronaut.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, Digger saying he's an average astronaut.
Average astronaut. Right. Cool. So yeah, I mean that's kind of what I do. I can't really go into detail for the new projects because I haven't started on them. So you know, I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm just kind of faking my way through.
We all are. Don't worry. I mean, seriously, the older you get, I mean, I'm like, what, 6-8 months away from 40? And I was laughing about this the other day. I was talking to somebody, and like, with all the things that I've done, like how everything's going to come about with my jobs in the space industry that I love to do, and apparently I'm not even that bad at it. I had to do
You're good.
Well, and what happened was that I had to do my first resume. I already had I had the job as a contractor for a year, and then it was kind of the CEO does this awesome thing where he sits down with any new hire, talks to them about all the stuff that they do, but it was kind of more of, you know, how does it feel to be, you know, kind of switch over to like full-time employee where this is kind of, you know, your day job and all this stuff, and he's a great guy. And but it was just super funny that they're Eva, who is the executive assistant, she's wonderful, just hysterical. Me, her, and another friend of mine, Kelly, we all sing Lonely Island songs to each other. It's great. I love my job. And so she's like, I need you to send me it's great. It's super, super funny. We all went to an event at the governor's mansion earlier this year, and the whole ride back, we were introducing Eva to Lonely Island. So she'd never heard any of them, and now she's heard them all. We played her all the hits on that drive, and it was just such a good time. But yeah, anyway, so she's like, I need a resume, and I'm like, I don't have one. All this stuff that I've got to do is just, you know, some people pick me up here and there. It's just, you just keep amassing the skills and stuff. And there is somebody, that dream job that you want, somebody is out there doing it badly and confidently. And you actually, if you care about it and you love it, you know, put the effort into it, and you just never know what's going to happen. It's completely okay to fake it till you make it. Most of the smartest 40-year-olds and 50-year-olds I know still don't know what they want to do with their life. They're probably the most adventurous people I know.
I mean, I don't know what I'm doing like 90% of the time. If I'm honest with you, I don't know how I got here, but okay, we're just going to go with it, you know?
Well, I mean, the running joke right now is that, has anybody here written a single word of their masterclass yet? Because that's been the joke on like 6 live streams that I've done now. Like, we're always like, we will, but we're just not there yet. We have to like get everybody together and see what everybody else is doing. It's not like we can just randomly do it. There's going to be, 6 of them on astronomy. Like, we got to see what, how we're going to separate this stuff out.
My anxiety just went up. What am I even going to talk about?
Lee just got us all into this, and nobody knows what to do. You got everybody suffering from a case of imposter syndrome right now, Lee. We have no idea. So thank you for terrifying us all.
Well,
volunteer your time and do more work. Write an entire course and try to keep up with the literal masterclass series. Who's selling one buy one get one right now with like the top chefs in the world and Neil deGrasse Tyson and Chris Hadfield. Go use those as like a little bit of like you can use that as a model. Just go watch those. You watch 15 minutes of the first one and be like, should we just get like 1 million copies of the real masterclass and give it out? let Neil talk about SciComm.
Well, you can just talk over them and just call it a day.
I'm gonna email Neil and be like, I need the entire script that you did for masterclass. I'm gonna do it verbatim. And like, is that cool? Be like, Ron, I don't know if that's what you want to do. You have to do your own original thing. But I mean, it's awesome. We're all super excited about it. It's going to be fun to get this together, and I can't wait to see it. Actually, I think Lee, I was telling you about it last night while we were chatting and getting all in the fields about all the awesome stuff that's going on. Is that my buddy Zach that I mentioned earlier that we contracted to do the commercial with us at Space Foundation sent me this awesome program called like Full-Time Filmmaker, and like we got everybody in the company, like all the film editors and stuff, and I just can't wait to see how that kind of comes all together. And like I'm excited to see what this looks like, especially because there's nothing like this that's out there that I have seen that is. Most of the time when you see the master classes, you're seeing stuff from people that are like 50 and 60 years. Don't get me wrong, master class. Like I understand that.
Way above your head, yeah.
Yeah, they are. Then that's a totally different, and it's awesome to get that. But there is something to somebody that is your age or younger that does have an expertise level already that kind of takes the fear away from that. Like I don't think I'm ever going to be Neil deGrasse Tyson. I mean, it'd be super cool if the ultimate goal is to eventually host like the far in the future cosmos. Like I want to like follow in that line. Like he came after Carl, and I want to go after Neil. So it's the goal. Although, I mean, I would say it'd be nice if there is a woman that follows, especially because Anne writes it and stuff first, and then we can kind of. I'll do that. I'll do like the 5th season. But that's a big one for me. But I think we've got there's so many opportunities here, and there's so many incredible science communicators from all different backgrounds. Kevin's like 28 years old. He's not even close to 30, and he's already been like an author in a commercial, and he did all that like after he was a rocket scientist for NASA. What?
And an American Ninja Warrior.
Yeah, and a multiple time American Ninja Warrior. And he's also crystal clear about all his failures. Like he has a recent Instagram post where he's like, here's all the things that I did and like I've succeeded in. And then he tells you like the 25 things he failed massively at. Like I put in to 100 different people for a TV show. I put into 50 different people to get my book done. I did this, and there are 150 different applications to NASA before they finally accepted me.
That makes me feel so good. Do you have any idea how many rejection emails I have from companies? I'm like, take me, please. I'm
Everybody
smart.
does.
I swear.
Yep.
I promise.
Yeah. If you haven't, hold on a second. I think I've actually got it sitting right over here. Quick plug for the Kev. If you not read his book, To NASA and Beyond, there we go. All right, just making sure it says it there. Check his book out. And I think I'm sure he's doing like signed copies and stuff of it. But he tells the stories of like all the stuff that he's went through, man. And just like, I cannot imagine saying, I'm going to put in the 150th, application and see what happens. Like he was like right at the point of giving up at that point. And who can blame him? 150? And it was like 153 that did it. I can imagine getting to 150. That's a good even number. I'm just, you know what? I want to just keep trying. You know what I mean? Like it still hasn't happened, and then he ended up working there. They ended up hiring him like on the last day of his internship. It's a crazy story. So definitely read the book. But I think it's just
for counting my emails. Then they're like, sorry.
Unfortunately,
like post them in a book later on in life. Also, we'll see.
Lee, how many times did you?
I love that energy.
I mean, what was it? There was somebody that did their PhD, and she did her PhD dissertation and the dress was made out of like all the rejection letters that she'd gotten over the years and all the things that like people told her that she couldn't do it.
I saw that.
Like something like that. Yeah. And that's awesome. And she defended it, by the way. She got her PhD. Like that's just the most boss move ever. Like I don't remember who she was, but I would love to shake her hand. High five, air five, whatever. We can't really do that stuff right now, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's I think we're going a little bit over here because we did have to go late because we had just a few technical issues. So Lee, I wanted to kind of throw it back to you to kind of wrap up the evening and give everybody another quick shout out how they can be involved, how they can donate, and the cool things they can be involved in, and then give a little bit more of for the people that didn't see earlier. The information on the upcoming show that we're doing in 2 weeks with the super famous person.
Yeah, definitely. So here's how you can get involved, everybody. That little scrolly thingy over here. Go ahead and click it. So if you donate $25, we are going to be giving away 6 analog astronaut crew positions with a company called MMARS, the Mars Moon Astronautics Academy and Research Science. at their analog astronaut training facility in the Mojave Desert. There will be a video up tomorrow for those of you who didn't see it earlier in the stream. We're going to be providing more information in that video, and there's already information up on that GoFundMe link if you just go to visit our website. There's all the different tiers and things that you get for the different amounts that you donate, anywhere from $10 to $1,000. And it goes toward helping many children and students of all ages throughout the Caribbean and South America. I mean, I've gotten, the privilege to speak with some of these kids and the teachers, and, things like in Puerto Rico, the observatory that just got destroyed, the telescope that just got destroyed, the fact that this was something that got defunded, and now Puerto Rico's one giant stance in space is now gone, and not a lot of people really know that. Even in throughout Latin America, this is like, there's no incentive like we have here in the United States, and to push for science and to push for funding. Funding is getting cut all the time from secondary, post-secondary education. Half the population doesn't know basic multiplication after they finish school, and it is a crazy thing that's going on. Shortage of doctors during the coronavirus, and there's a lot that needs to happen. It starts with opportunities for the next generation, and that's what we hope to give. We have a goal of $50,000. We're at 15, and so we have a long way to go, but we'll get there. So yeet those STEM supplies to South America. I think that's the best way to put it. So let's
cut up for science.
Yeah. Whatever term you want to use for it.
That's my best John Oliver. It's like, we're going to yeet. I can't even get it out before I start laughing. Like, how he's always got the hashtag yeet the science.
Yeet the science. So if you're still watching, click the link, get out of here, and Godspeed. Have a good night. And Ron, I'll turn it over to you. Unless you're going to put one of those things again right here that says Lee is very uncomfortable right now. This is very awkward and going on for too long. Because you did do that before.
Donate money to save Lee.
Donate money. Help, I'm stuck. Help, I'm on the street. Somebody shrink it.
Free. Free the Lee.
Yeet the Lee. This is my safety bubble. It's a Lee live. It's like a Lee cam.
It's the Lee live cam. Tomorrow morning is like later tonight. I finally hit the 8-hour mark and it shuts off.
It's like sleeping
Well, I mean, I really, honestly, cannot thank everybody enough for joining us again and always coming on. There's always such great stories. It's always such a great time. And honestly, one of the best parts about it, folks, is our private chat. It's always absolutely hysterical and has nothing to do with what's going on. Generally, sometimes there's comments on it, but it always ends up being super random. And fun things always happen. We always end up coming up with some cool idea. We've, astronaut shaved my head. Now we're going to make a sequel to Lee's Flat Earth movie, and have flat earthers build a high altitude balloon with their own. Like, we're going to give you the stuff to build it. We're going to have experts check everything. You're going to fly it with your camera and see there. No, it's a hologram. We know we're going to hear some crazy stuff, but it's going to be funny. And so yeah, don't make sure to join me on Saturday night, 8 p.m. Central. I'm sorry, Mountain Standard Time. Micaiah is begrudgingly going to be one of our guests on Saturday night. She's like, "Oh, never, Ron. I guess I can hang out." And she was all like, "Whatever." Like, all right, I'm going to kind of beg her, but and then Lee's going to be on here in a couple weeks. We already had Esther on, which means Angelica, you got to come on sometime in the future too. So always love it, man. These are awesome. So 2 weeks from tonight, awesome crew. Talk about skeptics. Emily Calandrelli, me, Lee. Awesome other people. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, and we will see you on the next one. Everybody stay safe out there. And the next one's going to be the last one of the year before we go on holiday break. So we won't do another one until 2021, which we all hope will be better. So you got to be on the next one. Get your paycheck ready. Put away $50. If everybody that watches, I want to look at the views. And if everybody that gave $5 that watched we'd be like up like $5,000. I bet. I'm gonna check the numbers and I'm gonna see, and I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna berate everybody that did give. You watched it for free and you didn't give any money. It's mean. So we definitely want you to do that next time. So thank you all so much. We'll see you on the next one.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.